Did you know that more than 52% of lawyers report feeling burned out, while nearly 31% struggle with depression and 64% experience anxiety? What may be even worse is that the rates of addiction among lawyers are reported to be 2.5 to 3.5 times higher than national averages. These numbers aren't just statistics. They're a wake-up call, aren't they? What's more important is that some of these stats came directly from a recent survey conducted by the American Bar Association. So you now know this is how other lawyers are living their lives these days. The sad truth is the traditional legal model, the one we were trained to work within, sets us up to fail. Because if you're like the thousands of other lawyers that have come to us with their challenges over the years, they feel like they're failing themselves. They feel like they're failing their families, and maybe more importantly, they feel as if they're failing to achieve the freedom and fulfillment of having a law practice that makes them proud. The traditional law model, it demands relentless hours. It leaves no room for meaningful connections. And frankly, it treats lawyers like replaceable cogs in a machine churning out documents. It's no wonder so many of us feel like paper pushers, right? Exhausted, unfulfilled, stuck in a rut. Well, if any of this sounds familiar, you are certainly not alone. And I am here to say it does not have to be this way. Welcome to the New Law Podcast for entrepreneurial lawyers, where our mission is simple: to transform the practice of law by providing world-class trainings and services to legal professionals who want to turn their law practices into businesses they love. I'm Katz, and I've been in your shoes. I know what it's exactly like to feel trapped by the traditional legal system, overworked, undervalued, questioning, is this really what I signed up for when I went to law school? I know the pressure, the burnout, and the disillusionment that comes from working within a system that feels stacked against you in every way. And I also know what it's like to break free. Yep, I know what it feels like to take back control. Align your practice with your vision, your values, your time, energy, and attention, a life you love. And in each episode of this podcast, I'm going to uncover the hidden challenges that are holding you back and share actionable strategies to create the law practice that you deeply desire and that you deserve, all while making a meaningful impact in the lives of those who need you most, while you're turning your law practice into a business you love. Now, in today's episode, I'm shining the light on the hidden forces driving lawyer burnout. More specifically, the outdated systems, the relentless demands that leave so many good lawyers feeling trapped with no escape in sight. And by the end of this episode, you will uncover the first steps to breaking free from the grind, reclaiming your life, rediscovering the joy that you once felt, either when you went to law school or when you started practicing law, when it was fresh and new and exciting and you had all those ideals. And so together, we're going to begin to explore how you can start building a practice that doesn't just keep you afloat, doesn't just pay the bills, but truly fulfills you personally, professionally, and purposefully. So if you've ever looked at your weekly workload and thought, I just can't keep doing this, if you've ever felt the heartache of missing a memorable moment with your family, or if you've ever questioned whether it is worth it to be a lawyer, well, this episode is your wake-up call, and it is your invitation to step off the treadmill, to reject the burnout that's been bullying you, and to embrace a new way forward. So stay with me, because everything that you've been hoping for is so much closer than you think. I want you to take a minute to think back of when you first got into law or first thought about going to law school. You were driven by passion, by purpose, by the desire to make a great living and make a great difference in people's lives, maybe even to be a role model in your community. And these days, when you look in the mirror every Monday morning, it's a different story, right? Now, perhaps the reality of practicing law feels less like fulfilling work and more like surviving a relentless routine. Your days are consumed by chasing billable hours if you're still billing hourly, maybe not wanting to even send out your invoices, competing against low-cost platforms like LegalZoom and trustandwill.com, and juggling clients who, frankly, demand more than ever. Maybe even law firm partners that you're working for demanding more than ever. Maybe you've even found yourself working 10-hour days. That was how it was for me at the big law firm, eating lunch at your desk, and answering emails at midnight and on weekends just to keep up. You're running on caffeine, sacrificing sleep, missing family dinners, and all because the demands of the job just never seems to let up, right? Or perhaps you felt the sting of client dissatisfaction when you just couldn't give them the attention that they deserved, couldn't return the phone call, not because you didn't care, but there just weren't enough hours in the day. And for many lawyers, this isn't just an occasional bad week. It's become the norm, and it's why so many lawyers are burning out. Here's the harsh reality that many lawyers live in. According to Bloomberg Law, 52% of lawyers report experiencing burnout. And according to a recent Legal Trends report, the average work week for lawyers is a staggering 71 hours, leaving little time for anything else. And according to the National Association for Law Placement, for young lawyers, attrition rates are skyrocketing, with nearly 20%, 1 in 5, leaving the profession because they don't want to do it this way anymore. The numbers don't lie. This system was not designed to support you, and frankly, it wasn't designed to support your clients either. It was designed to exploit you, and possibly them too. Please know that when you fail, it is not a personal failure. It's a systemic failure. But we can change it together. See, traditional law practices are built on outdated models that reward overwork, undervalue relationships, and treat lawyers like replaceable cogs in a massive machine. They reward you for billing more hours. The billable hour is king, and if you're not billing, you're not thriving, or at least that's what the system wants you to believe. They incentivize you to escalate conflict, churn out as many documents as you can, but the problem is the relentless pursuit of billable hours and transactional work or escalation of conflict. It doesn't just hurt lawyers. It's hurting your clients too. It strips away the trust and the connection that frankly should be at the heart of every legal relationship. But what is at the heart? Jokes about lawyers. Has it occurred to you that we have a bad reputation? Maybe it has. Maybe that's part of your burnout too. So where does that leave us? For many, it's a system that you just keep doing and depletes your energy. It stifles your growth. It leaves you questioning, should I be doing something else with my law degree? I get it. I was there. And here's the good news. There is a proven path to loving your life as a lawyer, reclaiming your time, energy, attention, and money. And truly, when you learn what I'm about to share with you here, you are going to realize that going to law school was the best thing that you ever did. You're going to be so glad that you got your law degree, that you stuck with it and passed the bar. But first, right now, we're going to uncover the deeper costs of staying stuck. And more importantly, how recognizing these costs is the first step toward transforming your life. So stay with me, because the perspective shift you're about to hear could change everything. So let's pause for a moment and really get honest with ourselves. How many nights have you stayed late at the office? The weight of your to-do list pressing down on you to the point where you feel like, I don't know if I can get it all done. I just don't know. Can I even breathe? Knowing that once again, you're going to miss tucking your kids into bed at night, or maybe even going on that date you were really excited about. Date? You barely think about even brushing your teeth, let alone the idea of dating. How many mornings have you dragged yourself out of bed exhausted before the day even starts, fueled only by caffeine and a growing sense of dread? I remember I used to leave my husband and daughter sleeping in bed when I would crawl out at 6:30 in the morning to do the 1-hour commute to LA from our home in Redondo Beach. And frankly, I just thought it was the price of being a lawyer. But let me tell you, it's not. Take Bonnie Fawcett, for example. Bonnie started her own general practice, and she quickly found herself drowning, just like what I've described. She was taking on every case that came her way: family law, real estate, corporate litigation, you name it. She thought she needed to in order to make a living. The demands of her running her practice left her physically drained, especially as she prepared to welcome her first child. That breaking point came when she realized that her chaotic schedule was unsustainable. There's no way she was going to be able to be the mom she wanted to be and have her business be like that. She wasn't just failing to find balance, she was sacrificing her health, her family, and her joy. But Bonnie found a solution. She found the new law business model. And as a result, she shifted her focus to estate planning, meaning she eliminated all of the other practice areas, the real estate, the litigation, and adopted the systems and strategies that we teach to our community members so she could focus on just one practice area, estate planning, done the way that we teach as life and legacy planning as a personal family lawyer firm leader. The result? Within 6 months, Bonnie increased her client engagements by 50%, reduced her working hours by 50%, and achieved a 900% revenue increase. By the end of 2 years, her annual revenue was at $400,000, and over the course of 4 years, Bonnie's law practice generated over $3 million in revenue. She gained complete control over her schedule, went on to have more kids, including twins, improved her client relationships, and provided highly tailored estate planning services that were in high demand in her community. And she went from feeling defeated to living her dream, a happy life, having a law practice that she could take pride in, knowing that she was making a positive impact in the world with her law degree. Well, for lawyers like Bonnie, and maybe for you, the relentless routine of the traditional legal system, it doesn't just cost you time. It's costing you your health, chronic stress, sleepless nights, serious illnesses, addictions that are hard to break free from, and of course your relationships too, straining connections with the people who matter most. But worst of all, it can cost you your relationship with yourself. That spark that drove you to become a lawyer in the first place, well, it starts to fade, right? And it's replaced by a sense of emptiness and a doubt that things will ever change. Based on my over 20 years of being a lawyer myself, first as an associate in a big law firm, and then building and selling my own $1 million firm, and then consulting and coaching thousands of lawyers on my new law business model over the years, I have come to the conclusion that if you are still stuck in this relentless routine, it is not your fault. It is the fault of a legal system that was not built to support lawyers like you. It was built to burn heart-centered professionals like you out. The traditional law models reward overwork and undervalue connection. They push lawyers into escalating conflict, exhausting endless chase of billable hours, no room for meaningful relational work with clients, or for you to have a fulfilling life with your family. And in this broken system, the costs keep piling up personally and professionally. So here's what I want you to know. Recognizing these costs is more than just a wake-up call. It is the beginning of a better way. Keep listening, because we are about to uncover the proven path to reclaim your time, energy, attention, and money. We call those your team resources, rebuild your relationships, and rediscover your true purpose. Remind you of why you went to law school. You'll see that building a practice that supports your life is not just a possibility. It is a reality for lawyers who've embraced this new way of looking at their own lives and law practices. Stay with me here, and let's explore how you can take the first steps towards the future you, your family, and your community deserve. So let's pause for a moment and shift our focus to what could be. Imagine starting your day excited. Instead of rushing from task to task, you're meeting with clients who truly value your expertise. They're happy to be working with you. They trust you as a guide, an advisor, not just a paper pusher, provider of legal documents, someone who's rushing them through a process, but somebody they can actually turn to. They are happy to pay. They know your name and they refer you to everyone they know. They bring you gifts. Now, picture yourself closing your laptop at a reasonable hour, walking out the door with energy left for your family, feeling lit up by your day, by the people you helped, by the hearts you touched, maybe even by the tears that were shed in your office. I remember the law firm partner that I worked with, if somebody cried in the office, he would get up and walk out of the room. it was kind of shocking to me. For me, if somebody cried in my office, I was like, whoa, I did a really good job. What if your law practice wasn't just about making a living, but about making an impact while also living a life that you're really proud of? Well, it's not some far off fantasy. It is the reality for our personal family lawyer firm leaders. And at its core, that is what the new law business model is about. It helps you move from this exhaustion to empowerment by flipping the script on what it means to be a lawyer altogether. So here's how. The first thing is prioritizing relationships over transactions. Remember, what we're talking about here is a relational law model, right? We've had transactional law and we've had conflict law forever. But what if we release both of those and instead we focus on relational law? So instead of one-off document drafting or one-off handling, reactive, handling of a conflict, instead, what if you create deep, lasting, proactive relationships with clients who see you as a trusted advisor, who are happy to pay you on an ongoing basis, who you don't even have to send invoices to in the mail, and you are collecting your fees? Then that brings us to shifting the way that you bill for your services. Imagine never again tracking a single billable hour unless you want to, because it's helping you to become more efficient or look at things that you could be delegating, but not because it's what you need in order to get paid. So then that brings us to proven systems, because with streamlined systems for your operations, for your client engagement, for your marketing, all of which, by the way, you don't have to go alone. We can help you set it up. You're going to free yourself from chaos and focus on what truly matters. Let's talk about those systems for a moment. See, because these aren't just ideas. These are proven strategies that transformed my own practice into a business and have transformed thousands of lawyers' lives and practices. So let's just talk about those systems for a minute so you start to really get them clear in your mind. What are systems? They're systems for educating your community, for marketing your services in a way where you never have to worry about where's the next client coming from. They're systems for taking those folks that are educated, that you've marketed to, and turning them into interested, asking how they can work with you, because it happens through a system where when the people come in and meet with you, they say it was like the universe was sending me a message that I needed to hire you, but it wasn't the universe. It was your system, where because of your system, you get hired by a minimum of 80% of the people that you meet with in person, and oftentimes 100%. That's really our goal, even though our benchmark is 80%. Unheard of in any business to get hired by 80 to 100% of the people that you meet with, and yet that is the genius of the systems that we've created. You can have these systems too, and then of course, systems for serving your clients in a way where they become raving fans and they refer you to everyone they know, and systems for recurring revenue so that you're able to deliver on a meaningful service again and again. And then of course, systems for training your team, hiring, and even firing, because you're going to need to do that sometimes. And you might have trauma because you didn't have systems for hiring and training in the past. And maybe you kept somebody for too long and it tanked your business. I've seen that happen again and again. You've got to have a system, and then systems to manage your financials. So here's where we get practical, even more practical. Let me share a few actionable insights from the new law business model that you can start thinking about right away. Number 1, audit your calendar. Take a look at your schedule for the past month. How much of your time went to tasks that drained you versus work that inspired you? Now, if you can't even remember the past month and nothing's on your calendar for you to look at, well, that's going to be something that you're going to want to change. Your relationship with your calendar is the key to a life that you love. It is the practical tool that you use to create your reality. And I know many of us are scared of using calendars because it feels like a lack of freedom if we have all sorts of things on our calendar all the time. But what if it was very intentional? What if you created your calendar in a way where when you looked at it, you said to yourself, wow, that is the exact life that I want? And it is why it is one of the very first things that we help everyone in our ecosystem with. It is taking control of their calendar, working with that calendar in a new way. It's how I've been able to accomplish everything that I have in my life. So the next one is assessing your pricing. Are you charging based on the value of the outcome that you bring to your clients, or are you stuck in the trading time for money grind? Now, it's so typical. Lawyers, more than anyone, are known for trading time for money. But there is a better way. You can transform your services, the way that you price and package your services, so that you're not even charging for time at all. You're charging for the value of the outcome that you provide. So take a look. Are you doing that now? Could you? Could you imagine how much better that would be? And then third, reconnect with your why. Ask yourself, why did I become a lawyer in the first place? Whenever you hear me interview a guest here, you'll hear me ask that. Why did you go to law school? What impact did you dream of making? Now, maybe you went to law school just because you thought it was a path to cash. Well, are you making the cash? Are you making the impact? Are you making the difference? If not, well, I'm glad you're here, because you can. You just have to do things differently than how we've all been taught. These simple steps can start shifting your mindset, and that's what it takes. Starts with a shift of mindset and open the door to a much more intentional way of working, where you are going to be so glad you went to law school, because you have in your hands an incredibly valuable service that people need. And that is more than most business owners have when they start out, right? They got to make up a service. They got to find the market. They got to find the market to message, to product match. You don't have to do any of that. It's all been done for you. You don't have to reinvent any wheels at all. So here's the question that lawyers like you could be asking themselves right now. What would breaking free from the burnout cycle mean for you? Would it mean being present with your family again? Your kids? Maybe dating in the first place, even finding a family for yourself, feeling proud of the work that you do? Traveling? Finally earning what you imagined you would earn when you went to law school, and without sacrificing your health to do it? You do not have to stay stuck in a system that wasn't designed to support you any longer than you want to. Because the new law business model that I created is not just a solution, it's a roadmap to reclaim your life. So in just a minute, I'm going to show you how you could take the first step toward creating a law practice and a life that really does align with your values and vision. But before we wrap up, I want you to imagine this. What would your life look like if you stopped settling for survival and started designing a practice and a life that you truly loved? Now stay with me, because we're about to turn that vision into a reality. If you've made it this far into the episode, I want to pause and acknowledge something really important. You have taken a courageous step simply by being here. Why? Because you've chosen to stop settling for the way things are, and to reflect on what isn't working, and to explore the possibilities of what could. And that takes not only awareness, but strength. And it is the first step to breaking free from burnout and building a law practice and a life that truly fulfills you. You and I both know you did not work this hard to become a lawyer only to feel drained, undervalued, or disconnected from your purpose. But this isn't the end of the story. There is a better way. A way to reclaim your time, energy, attention, money, your team resources, and build a law practice that serves both your life and your clients' lives at the highest level, so you can be super proud of the work you're doing in the world. And this is not just a possibility, it is so within your reach. So here's what I'd love for you to do right now. If anything that I have shared today resonates with you, if you've even felt a flicker of hope that things can be different for you, take the first step. Download a free copy of my book. It is called The New Law Business Model Revealed, and it is packed with actionable insights, plus a lot of my story that I think is going to inspire you to help you start making meaningful changes right away. Everything that I've done has been because I got inspired by somebody else. Now, I'd love to do the same for you. Grab your copy of my book at newlawbusinessmodel.com/book. And if you are so sick and tired of the status quo, of the way things have been, and you are ready to dive deeper, well, I'm inviting you to get instant access to my 15-minute video where I'll show you exactly how to add 6 figures or more to your business and love your law practice, all while providing an extremely valuable service that people in your community want and need, simply go to newlaw.co/grow, GROW, newlaw.co/grow, GROW. And remember to tune in for episode 40, How Lawyers Like You Broke Free and Finally Found the Freedom They Desire and Deserve. I'm going to be introducing you to the stories of lawyers who have done it. They have successfully turned their lives around by embracing the principles that I've shared with you in my last 2 episodes. And their journeys are going to show you that transformation, it's not just possible, well, it's happening right now for lawyers just like you, and it can be happening for you too. So let me leave you with this. The pain of burnout does not have to be your story forever. It can be just the beginning. The life and the law practice that you've been dreaming of is closer than you think. You don't have to give up. You don't have to walk away from law. You don't have to keep sacrificing your health, your family, your life, just to stay afloat. You have the power to change your path. You've made it here. You found me, and I have what you need. The tools, the support, the guidance to begin using your law degree to build something extraordinary. I'm Allie Katz, and I want you to remember, you are not in this alone. Every step you take toward building a practice that you love is a step toward reclaiming your life. Remembering why you went to law school. Remembering who you are, why you're here, and what is yours to do. So take a deep breath, hold your head high, and know this: change is possible, and it starts with you. Until next time, the best is yet to come.